President Trump now wrapping up his meeting with families from the Santa Fe mass shooting. Good afternoon. I'm Sherman Chow. The president touched down just before 11 a.m. and he will head to a fundraising luncheon this afternoon. He's expected to be in Houston for just a couple of hours. We have live team coverage today from Ellington Field, where the president landed about an hour ago, to the St. Regis in River Oaks, where he will be shortly. Let's begin with Marcelino Benito at Ellington. Marcelino.
Sherman, I can tell you President Trump is still here at Ellington Field. Behind me you can see and hear Air Force One. The president's plane touching down in Houston just after 10:50 this morning. Always a sight to see Air Force One on final approach coming into Houston. Once the president got off the plane, he was greeted by dozens of cheering supporters. Also welcomed by Governor Greg Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, as well as Senator Ted Cruz once he was on the tarmac. The president's motorcade then made a short drive to an adjacent Coast Guard building here at Ellington, where he met with the families of victims of the Santa Fe high school shooting. That meeting still going on. I can tell you that meeting was close to press. No cameras allowed. That, of course, at the request of the families. And so far, the president is coming up on an hour that he spent with those families. I can tell you, although cameras aren't allowed inside that event, we do have a camera just outside it, waiting for the president once he comes out. Should he want to make some remarks about what occurred in that meeting with those families, he will brief us then. Once he leaves here, he will head to a fundraiser in the city of Houston. For more on that, we'll send it back to you. Sherman?
All right, thank you, Marcelino. And as he said in River Oaks, well, there is heightened security ahead of the president's arrival to the St. Regis. This will be the first of two fundraisers today in Texas. Stephanie Whitfield joining us live from outside the hotel. Stephanie.
As you can imagine, there's quite a bit of security and planning that goes into any presidential visit. So Houston police have been here for several hours on standby, and you can see and hear that now they have some company out here. We've got some Trump protesters over on one side of the grass and his supporters on this side of the grass, both right across the street from the St. Regis Hotel, where this fundraiser is going to happen later this afternoon. Now, the fundraiser is being put on by the National Republican Senate Committee. The organization raises money to help Republicans get elected to the Senate. Now, getting a seat at this event with the president is not cheap, to put it lightly. One ticket is $5,000, and if you want a picture with President Trump, that costs $25 grand. This whole event only expected to last about an hour and a half. Now, back out here live, everything is set up for the president's arrival. We've got plenty of Houston police on scene, as well as barricades, to make sure that these protests remain peaceful. Sherman, back to you.
All right, thank you, Stephanie. And we do have a live look from the hangar where President Trump is meeting with families of the Santa Fe high school shooting. There he will likely be walking out in a couple of moments, and if he has any remarks about his meeting with the families, the survivors and the family members, we should probably hear from him at this location. We will bring you more when he arrives at River Oaks as well.